Welcome to One Small Step. This is the FMC FindMeCoaches.com PodClass series. It's so named because we aim with each episode to leave our audience with at least one small step that will take them nearer to achieving their goals, reaching their full potential. I'm Colin Newbold and I'm the founder of FMC, which is a coaching platform where you can find certified and experienced professional coaches who work with clients across a wide variety of areas. And the format of these episodes is an interview that I record with a selection of our coaches. So welcome everyone to the new PodClass. This is a PodClass with one of our best coaches. Now, the coach is Erwin Emondt, and he is based in Germany. He's an English guy, but he's based in Germany, and he specializes in the area of self-esteem and confidence and self-esteem coaching. He works in a number of different related coaching areas, but for this podcast, Erwin, you've chosen to talk about confidence and self-esteem coaching. So what makes you choose that?
Yes, well, thank you, Colin, first of all, for that introduction. I'm humbled by the fact that you're calling me one of the best coaches. Thank you so much. Yes, why confidence and self-esteem coaching? It is one of the things that I keep running into with every type of work I do. You know that I not only do business coaching and coaching, personal coaching, but I also do resilience training, mental training. And I constantly meet people where we soon discover that the underlying problem for that, what they're coming to me with, is a problem with their self-esteem and a problem with their confidence. I have a brilliant young salesperson that I'm coaching who came to me because she has a problem with stress in her work. She kept putting stress upon herself, and we soon found out that in her very early youth, she had a problem with her family. Her father left them, her and her mother, and she felt like she wasn't good enough for her father. And she kept feeling that, and she kept carrying this feeling of being not good enough throughout her entire life. And now in her mid-30s, she's still feeling like she's never good enough. And that is this part where you then come up, where you see, okay, she has a problem with the confidence in herself. She simply doesn't have the self-esteem and the confidence to say, I'm pretty good at my job, and look at the results. I'm doing a good job. So not feeling good enough, lacking this confidence, she keeps putting stress on herself, saying, I've got to do 120%. And if she does that, she still feels not good enough. So it's in situations like this that it keeps coming up everywhere. And that's why some time ago, I decided that I wanted to work more with specifically people that have a problem with self-confidence, self-esteem, and focus more on that.
Okay, thank you. Interesting, that case study reveals something that you're skilled in, which is because coaching is typically considered to be about the here and now, and there's a line between coaching and therapy, for example, or even counselling. But from that case study that you shared, it is obvious to the audience that you do. You're able to go back into the history of an individual to perhaps trace the underlying cause of something that's getting in their way now.
Yes, and I think that's very important. It's because unless this young woman really comes to a point where she says, okay, I understand that now. I understand that I'm still trying to somehow unconsciously trying to satisfy my father with everything I do. I haven't seen him for more than almost 30 years, but I'm still trying to do. And unless she really sees that and becomes aware of what she's doing there, she cannot change herself. So now that she knows that, we can work on, okay, How are we going to deal with that? How are we going to take that now and here and for the future, so that you can say, hey, I'm trying to satisfy my father again, but I don't need to. I am good as I am, and I can work normal without putting unnecessary stress onto myself.
Okay. So, as well as that client you've just referred to, what type of people are your typical clients?
Well, look, besides, of course, the ordinary business coaching, right, where I train all kinds of leaders, team managers, etc., etc. I some time ago, like I said, decided that I would be doing more confidence and self-esteem coaching, looking for people that really have, I would say, obvious problems with their confidence. People that feel like they're not beautiful, or other people, they think other people find that they're ugly. People that have problems in their relationship, saying, my husband takes me for granted. He doesn't really see me anymore. I raised the kids. He made career. Now that the kids are out of the door, I'm really good for nothing. I just do the household and that's it. But I'm really good for nothing. People that have problems with their gender, maybe not really saying, I don't know whether I'm a man or a woman, but saying, I know that I was born a man, but I feel I'm a woman, but I don't know how to deal with it, and don't know how to tell it to other people. I simply don't. I'm afraid of the world around me. So it's all kinds of things, but it's a group of people that I somehow feel I can relate to that. I don't know exactly why, but I simply feel like I can help these people and I can do something for them. So I decided to start focusing more on this group of clients, and building up new structures, because of course it's an entirely different line of business than the ordinary business coaching and personal coaching I have been doing. So setting up new websites, setting up new presentations, etc., etc. I'm making new packages that I can offer these people, but it simply feels good. I really feel that I can do something positive there. So I'm really starting to look for this type of client.
Yeah, and those are topical subjects right now.
Yeah.
So how would you describe your coaching style, Erwin?
First of all and foremost, very empathetic. I really believe that only when there is a good connection with the person I'm coaching, when I can care about this person, then I can help this person. I try to be open and base everything that we do on mutual trust. I also always try an holistic approach. I look at mental, emotional, spiritual health, and I always combine also the classic coaching with parts of my resilience and mental training, depending on how the person reacts to that, because techniques from resilience training and personal training can be very helpful to support the actual coaching activity. And that's also why I also always say I don't do a standard type of coaching. It depends on the individual. No two people are alike. So completely depending on how a person reacts to certain things, I will decide whether we do some mental training, whether we just do coaching in the classic form or whatever.
It's good for our audience to know that you have these other skill sets which you can bring to bear into the relationship. So thank you. When it comes to new coaches, Erwin, how do you approach them to ensure they're comfortable?
First and foremost, the really most important thing, and I find it so good that Find Me Coaches is always doing this, is the chemistry meeting. In a chemistry meeting, a potential coachee will tell a little bit about him or herself, and the problem that he or she is facing, and I will tell lots about myself, about how I work, why I do the things I do, etc., etc. And only if after that we both have the feeling that, okay, this is a person that I would like to work with, especially, of course, when the coachee says, okay, this guy is, that felt good. I think I can trust him. I want to work with him. Only then will I start into a coaching agreement with that person. And I mean, I think you've also got it on the website, a chemistry meeting as a start, which is free of charge, of course. And I think that is an absolutely brilliant thing. Once these two people, the coach and the coachee, agree in that chemistry meeting that they can work together, then you already have a basis of trust, and that already establish a certain amount of comfort with the coachee once you start talking about other things and you start to go deeper into the problems that he or she might have.
Okay, yeah, chemistry meeting is definitely part of our modus operandi. It's the way we work. It's interesting because in my experience, it is very often the first coach that connects with the potential client who gets the contract. Rarely do we have to provide, an alternative, but that is part of the point of a chemistry meeting. As you said, if the fit's not right, then we'll offer them an alternative coach. How do you action plan with a coachee at the end of a coaching session, Erwin?
I'm never quite sure because it always depends on the person. I always try to give them some homework, but what that is really depends very much on the person. It can be that a person has reacted very well to an autogenic training, and then I would audio tape one of our sessions, and I would send that audio tape to this person saying, okay, I want you to do with this tape, just do an autogenic training at least once a day until our next session. And then in the next session, I will ask, okay, what did you do? Did you actually do what we agreed upon? How did it work? How did it feel? What's your experience with it? How did you feel it brought you further? But it can be anything. It can be some sort of an anchoring. I had a person at one time who, during our conversation, we were talking about trying to relax in moments where she had sudden stress. And during our conversation, she made this movement like, and I spoke about that with her and asked her how it felt. And so we decided that we would anchor this as a feeling of letting stress out. And I told her to do it at least a couple of times a day until our next session. Because this little second of relaxing, if you do it frequently, it will become a minute of relaxing, will become an hour, and it will become longer. So yeah, like I said, it always depends on the client, but I always do try to give them some sort of an assignment, something to work with, because coaching is a process. Change is a process. If you want to change yourself, you're engaging in a process that needs exercise.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I think coaching has this benefit of not only setting the assignment, a piece of homework, but more importantly, perhaps holding them to account at the next session to see if they've actually done it, and then checking in with them how that worked and so on.
Absolutely.
What they learned from that. You mentioned autogenic a few times. Can you just say a bit more about that type of training?
It's basically a type of training that was it was developed by a psychologist in the 1920s, and it works with certain formulas to get into a state of total relaxation. And The relaxation itself is already something that really helps people a lot, because when you get into a state of mind where the brain is not working in the usual wavelengths that it's working in when you are awake, but more in the wavelengths that the brain is working in when you're in deep sleep, then you have an entirely different distance from any problems that you might have. And that already works miracles in some cases. It's really very good. The next thing you can do with autogenic training is create your own formula. And by using this formula, stating something positive that you want to achieve, like, I don't know, I'm fully independent and healthy. If you want to stop with smoking, getting this idea of I don't need it into a sentence. By using that in this particular state of mind, works a lot better than when you are awake. You can say that to yourself 100 times a day when you're awake. And I actually did that myself to get rid of my hay fever. But only until the moment where I also started practicing this within an autogenic training, within the deep state of relaxation, where the brain cannot deny what you're saying. If you're saying I'm healthy in a wake state of mind, your unconscious brain will say, "Hey, buddy, are you sure?" The moment you're in this deep relaxation state where the brain is working in different wavelengths, it has no way of denying that what you are telling it. And as long as it's something positive, it will accept it a lot quicker. So that's basically autogenic training.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. So it's kind of based on the same sort of theory as affirmations.
Yes.
Because as you say, if you say it like it's true, then sets up a cognitive dissonance, and that is where the brain goes to work to make it true.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's really important. Thank you. Erwin, I just realised I said to you at the beginning, when in my introduction, that you were English, but I don't think that's true, is it?
No, it's not.
It just reminded me of your accent.
I'm Dutch.
Oh.
I'm Dutch. I've lived in Germany now for almost 30 years. Oh my God!
Yes,
time to get out. No, serious. I've lived in Germany for a very long time, but I am Dutch. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So this podcast series, it's called One Small Step. So for anyone in our audience who may be challenged in any of the ways that you've described right now, if you were to give them a first easy step, to get going, what would it be, Erwin?
There's something very easy that everybody can do. Like I said before, self-awareness is extremely important. Realizing who you are, what you are, why you're doing what you do. That is the beginning of change. So there is something very easy to make you more aware of the positive you, of the good that you can actually do. You just take a stack of notes, a pen and a jar, and every day write down one skill that you're good at, and write down everything that you've done during the day that you did well. And you put them in that jar, these notes, and you will see the jar filling up, and you will see the positive you with all the good things that you've done fill up. It is very important. I mean, if you are in a business environment and you have a problem with confidence within your job, you're afraid to speak in front of groups or whatever, then of course you can focus this on work-related things. You don't have to write down I'm good at washing the car, because it's not really going to help you. But unless you're in a situation like that, just write down everything. Do not filter anything out. I had a young woman at one point in time who actually the first thing that she wrote down was, I smiled at the neighbor this morning when I saw him, because she really didn't know anything else. She felt like she was nothing, she couldn't do anything right, but that was the first thing that came up. That's good. Whatever comes up, write it down, put it in a jar. In this particular case, it turned out that she was living in an area with quite a few elderly people and actually also quite a few lonely people. And her jar kept filling up with very similar things to that. And then at one point she started to see and she started to realize that she was having an impact on the lives of these people by simply being friendly to them, being there. And she discovered that she really made an impact on their lives. The moment she discovered that was a boost in her confidence and her self-esteem. So do not filter anything. Just write it down, put it in that jar, and watch that jar fill up. Mm-hmm. That's the good you. That is not something that you think you are or something that you think you cannot do. That is what you really are and what you've really done.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a whole history of behaviors that have served you well. So things that you've done, things that you've said, or not done or not said, I guess. But it's really that you capture them in that way and put them in the jar. I like that, the jar of positive affirmations again, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's it.
Erwin, thanks ever so much. It's been great to get to know you a bit better on this podcast. We're going to be publishing these very soon. Thank you again for the time you've given me. Sorry we had to re-record this. We had a bit of a hiccup in yesterday's studio, but I think we got there today. So
That's good.
Yeah, thanks again for your time, and I wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you so much for having you, and talk to you again soon, hopefully.
Thank you for watching. I hope you found that valuable. You got something from it. Now, you may be looking for coaching in that area or a different area, completely unrelated to what was shown in the episode. The best place to go to find out more is our website, which is www.findmecoaches.com. You'll see it on the screen now. And you'll see a variety of coaches in very many different areas of coaching. So you may have an issue or a challenge or an event coming up, or maybe you've just had an interaction with somebody and you really need some help through coaching. So go to the website, have a look at the coaches we offer, the coaching niches that we operate in. And if you want to reach out, there is a form that you can fill in on the website. Alternatively, why not email us at info@findmecoaches.com, or why not call us? Our number is +44 if you're outside of the UK, 0203 988 6666. Once again, that's 0203 988 6666. Bye-bye now.